Okay, so you've been out there, you've been practicing your swing, you've been getting that chip shot just right, and now you're ready to actually take your passion for golf to that next level. We're talking becoming a golf instructor.
That's right.
But maybe you're feeling some of those pre-interview jitters.
A lot of people do
Yeah,
that.
a little bit intimidating already.
Yeah.
But we've got you covered. Today's deep dive is all about helping you conquer that interview and land that dream job.
Absolutely.
We've got RoleCatcher's career and interview guides for golf instructors right here on the table, ready to tee up some insightful advice.
We'll break it all down for you.
We'll break down the role itself, tackle some common and some tricky interview questions, and even explore how RoleCatcher's AI can give you a little bit of an edge.
Yeah,
By the end of this, you'll be prepped and ready to impress.
absolutely. Now, before we get into like the nitty-gritty of the interview prep, I think it's good to take a step back and define what a golf instructor does.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot more than just having a really good swing, right?
Right.
There's more to it.
So let's paint that picture for our listeners. What does a day in the life of a golf instructor actually look like?
So you're wearing many hats. You're a teacher, you're a coach, you're a mentor.
Right.
Sometimes you're even a therapist.
A little bit of that, yeah.
You're breaking down the mechanics of a golf swing, you're building confidence in your students, and you're helping them achieve their golfing goals, whatever those goals may be.
Yeah, and you get to spend your days out on the green, soaking up the sunshine. It sounds like a pretty good gig, but
It does.
the career guide mentions some challenges too, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, any job has its pros and cons, and being a golf instructor is no different. So, like, it can be physically demanding. Your income can fluctuate depending on the season. You know what the golf season is like.
Right.
And there's always an element of competition.
That makes sense. And speaking of competition, let's talk about how to stand out from the crowd during an interview. The interview guide has a whole section on common questions, and I have to say, some of these are real curveballs.
It can be, yeah.
They're tough.
But, I mean, with the right preparation, you can knock these answers out of the park. And just remember, interviewers are looking for very specific qualities and skills in a golf instructor.
Total.
That's what they want to see.
So let's dive into the first question here. The guide says this one pops up in almost every interview. Why do you want to be a golf instructor?
It's a common one.
It seems simple enough,
Yeah.
but I bet there's a right way to answer it, and then there's a wrong way to answer it.
You're absolutely right. It's not enough to just say, I love golf.
Right.
You know, we want to see your passion, but we also want to understand what your motivations are, what drives you to teach, what makes you excited about helping others improve their game.
So it's about going beyond the surface level
Yeah.
and really sharing what truly resonates with you about this career path.
Exactly. Now think about it. Have you always enjoyed teaching or mentoring other people? Perhaps you've helped friends with their swings before and found it incredibly rewarding. Maybe you're drawn to the challenge of breaking down a complex concept and making it accessible to other learners, all levels.
Those are some great points.
That's what it's about.
It's about finding those personal connections and experiences that really demonstrate your genuine enthusiasm for teaching golf.
Precisely. And speaking of experience, let's move on to another question that often comes up. What experience do you have of teaching or coaching, even if it's not directly related to golf?
Okay.
That's important.
So they're not just looking for someone who's worked at a golf course before.
Exactly. What they're looking for is evidence of your teaching skills.
Okay.
Regardless of the setting. Think back to any time you've instructed, mentored, or led others in any capacity.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't have to be golf.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even experiences like tutoring students, coaching a youth sports team, or leading training sessions at work could be relevant here.
Absolutely. The key is to highlight the transferable skills you've gained from those experiences. So, for example, did you have to break down complex information into simpler terms? Did you develop strategies to motivate individuals or groups of people? Did you provide constructive feedback to help others improve? Because those all matter.
Those are all valuable skills that translate directly to golf instruction.
Absolutely.
It's about showcasing your adaptability and demonstrating that you're a natural teacher at heart.
And that's what shines through in a strong answer. Now, here's where RoleCatcher's AI can give you an extra edge. Imagine uploading your resume and having AI analyze it specifically for golf instructor roles, picking up on those keywords and experiences that might not seem immediately obvious to you, but they are incredibly relevant.
Okay, that's super helpful.
It can really help.
It's like having a personal brand strategist who speaks fluent golf instructor.
Exactly. It's about presenting yourself in the best possible light and highlighting those skills and experiences that really align with what employers are looking for. Now let's move on to a question that often trips people up. Tell me about a time you had to deal with a challenging student or client and how you handled the situation.
Oof, that's a tough one. Everyone has encountered a difficult person at some point.
Yeah.
What's the best approach for tackling this type of question in an interview setting?
Honesty and composure are key here.
Yeah.
Interviewers, they understand that challenging situations are just part of life. They're inevitable, especially in a teaching role. So they want to see that you can handle conflict constructively, that you can maintain your professionalism and find solutions.
Right.
Avoid bad-mouthing past students or clients.
Right. Yeah. No negativity.
Right, don't do that.
So it's more about showcasing your problem-solving skills
Yeah.
and your ability to navigate difficult interpersonal dynamics.
Precisely. For example, let's say you had a student who was constantly frustrated and was on the verge of giving up. Instead of just saying, I was patient and I encouraged them, go deeper than that.
Okay.
Share specific actions that you took. Did you adjust your teaching style to better suit them? Did you break down the skill into smaller, more manageable steps? Did you have a conversation with them about their frustrations and work together to try to find a solution?
Those are some really helpful tips.
Thank you.
It's about painting a picture of how you effectively manage the situation.
Exactly.
Now, while we're on the topic of challenges, let's address another question that might come up. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and techniques in golf instruction?
This is your time to shine as a dedicated professional who is passionate about their craft.
So it's not enough to just say, I read Golf Digest.
Definitely not. While staying informed about industry publications is very important, interviewers are looking for a deeper level of commitment. Have you attended any workshops or conferences recently? Do you follow any renowned golf instructors or researchers? Have you experimented with new technologies or training methods?
It sounds like they're looking for someone who's truly invested in being on the cutting edge of the golf instruction world.
Absolutely. The golf world is constantly evolving, and the very best instructors are lifelong learners. This is a great opportunity to showcase your dedication to staying ahead of the curve.
And speaking of staying ahead of the curve, this feels like a good time to bring in RoleCatcher again. I was reading about their AI-powered job matching tool, and it sounds like it could be a game changer for someone starting their career as a golf instructor.
It absolutely can be. Job hunting can be a really daunting process, especially in a specialized field like golf instruction. What RoleCatcher's AI does is it helps to streamline that process by identifying your unique skills and matching you with employers who are actively seeking those skills.
So it's like having a personal recruiter who understands the golf industry.
Precisely.
Wow.
It takes out all the guesswork and increases your chances of landing that perfect role.
That's amazing. Now let's get back to those challenging interview questions. I'm curious about this one. How would you assess a student's skill level and create a personalized lesson plan?
Okay.
Seems like there's a lot to unpack there.
There is. This question is designed to assess your structured approach to teaching. So they want to see that you don't have a one-size-fits-all mentality. Instead of launching into a generic answer, try painting a picture of your process for them.
Okay, so walk us through it. How would you approach a new student?
So I would start by observing their swing, just watching them.
Okay.
And asking about their golfing history, how long have they been playing, what are their goals, what brings them to lessons, what are their aspirations. And then I'd use a combination of drills and assessments tailored to their skill level to really pinpoint the areas that need improvement.
Okay.
And then finally, and this is crucial, I would collaborate with the student to create a personalized plan, with clear, achievable goals.
It's about making them an active participant in their own development.
Exactly. And that collaborative approach is crucial for building rapport and trust.
Which brings us to another question from the guide. How do you build rapport with your students and create a positive learning environment? I imagine this is especially important in a sport like golf, where confidence plays such a big role.
It really does. Golf is as much a mental game as it is a physical one. Students need to feel comfortable and supported to learn effectively.
So how do you create that positive and encouraging atmosphere?
It starts with active listening, really paying attention to what their concerns are, what their goals are, and recognizing that everyone has their own individual learning styles. It's also about being patient, providing constructive feedback, and celebrating those successes no matter how small.
It sounds like you're emphasizing the importance of celebrating those small victories along the way,
Absolutely.
which can be so motivating for students.
It really can. It's about fostering a love for the game and a belief in their own potential.
Now, let's talk about a question that might require a little self-reflection here.
Mm-hmm.
What do you consider your biggest strength as a golf instructor? It feels a little awkward to toot your own horn a little bit,
It does, yeah.
but this is your chance to sell yourself.
It is, you're right. It can feel a bit uncomfortable, but remember, confidence is key in an interview. Think about what sets you apart from other instructors. What is it that you bring to the table?
So if you had to pick one strength, what would it be?
I'd have to say my ability to connect with students on an individual level. I'm a firm believer that everyone learns differently, and I really pride myself on adapting my teaching style to match those needs.
That's a great strength to highlight. It shows that you're not just focused on the mechanics of the swing,
Right.
but also on understanding the individual needs of each student.
Every student is different.
Now, the flip side of that question can be even tougher. What is your biggest weakness?
Yes, the dreaded weakness question. It can feel like a trap, but it's an opportunity to demonstrate self-awareness and a commitment to growth.
Okay, so how do you answer authentically without completely shooting yourself in the foot?
The key is to choose a weakness that's real, but also something that you are actively working to improve. So avoid cliches like, I'm a perfectionist, or I work too hard.
Right. Those are so common.
Right, they're not going to believe you.
They've heard it all.
They don't want to hear it again. Instead, be specific. For example, you could say, I sometimes get so enthusiastic about teaching that I overwhelm students with information. I'm working on being more mindful of pacing and ensuring students fully grasp one concept before we move on to the next.
That's a great example.
Thank you.
You've acknowledged a weakness, but also demonstrated that you're taking proactive steps to address it.
And that's what interviewers want to see, that you're willing to learn and grow. Now, here's where RoleCatcher's AI can be incredibly valuable. Imagine practicing your answers to these common interview questions, like this one, and receiving personalized feedback based on the specific job description.
Wait, it does that?
It does. It's amazing. RoleCatcher can analyze your responses
Wow.
and provide suggestions for improvement. It might point out if your answer is too vague, or if it lacks specific examples, or even if it doesn't align with the keywords and skills emphasized in the job description.
That's like having a personal interview coach in your pocket.
Exactly. And that kind of preparation can make all the difference.
Speaking of preparation, the guide mentions the importance of having questions prepared to ask the interviewer. It seems like such a small detail, but I bet it makes a big impact.
It does. Asking thoughtful questions demonstrates your genuine interest in the position and your initiative. It also gives you a chance to gather valuable information about the company and the role.
So what kind of questions should you ask?
Okay, so avoid questions that could easily be answered on their website.
Okay.
Like, what does your company do? Come on, you should already know that. Instead, focus on questions that demonstrate your understanding of the role and your desire to really contribute to the team.
For example.
You could ask about opportunities for professional development. Maybe they have a mentoring program for new instructors.
Right?
You could ask about their approach to mentoring new instructors, or even their long-term vision for their golf program.
Yeah, those are really insightful suggestions. It's about showing that you're not just there for a paycheck. You're really invested in their success.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap up, I want to touch on one more crucial aspect of becoming a successful golf instructor: certifications. The career guide really emphasizes this,
Okay.
and for a good reason.
It makes sense. In a field like golf instruction, credentials really matter.
They do, and there are some big players in the game. The PGA professional certification is like the gold standard.
Right.
But there are other reputable organizations out there like the USGTF and Golf Tech. These certifications demonstrate a commitment to professional standards and will really give you a competitive edge in the field.
So if someone is serious about a long-term career as a golf instructor, getting certified is a smart move.
It absolutely is. It's an investment in your future.
This has been incredibly helpful. I feel like we covered so much ground, from understanding the role itself to mastering those tricky interview questions.
I think so too.
We really dove in deep.
We did.
And don't forget, we've got those amazing resources from RoleCatcher that can help you prepare even more.
Yes, absolutely.
Their AI tools can be a real game changer when it comes to tailoring your application, identifying your unique skills, and finding those best fit employers.
They can help you really put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
And stand out from the competition.
Now, as you head into that interview, here's a final thought-provoking question to ponder.
Okay.
How will you inspire a love for the game in your future students?
That's a good one.
How will you make golf accessible, enjoyable, and rewarding for everyone you teach?
That's what it's all about, right?
That's what it's all about.
Spreading the love of the game.
Absolutely. And with that, we will see you on the green.